Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto, and today guys we are taking another cheeky look at XRP with some fantastic news that the Bank of England wants XRP, although I think they don't even know it. So we're going to get into that and see exactly what's going on. We'll also take a look at, Chris, some fantastic news with Ripple expanding business despite the nonsense at the SEC. We'll also talk about what might happen when the inevitable comes, that XRP, case and the SEC case with Ripple, comes to a close. It's inevitable that it will close, and we're going to share with you our thoughts on what will happen the very day that it gets put to bed. So, Chris, this is going to be a pretty interesting video, relatively relaxed, I like to think, and we're going to just go through a few interesting things that we've discovered on the Ripple and XRP front.
Yeah, I think long overdue. We haven't done an XRP video in some time, and I think now's the time to do one for sure.
Absolutely, yeah. So guys, if you find it useful, informative, maybe just dash entertaining, do go ahead and smash that like button for Chris. He really does appreciate it, so do I. And as always, if you're new to the channel and not yet subscribed, do go ahead and subscribe. By subscribing, you will be kept up to date with all the videos and live streams that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Right, Chris, let's jump on over to the desktop and take a look at this absolutely interesting article around the Bank of England.
Yeah, it is really interesting. Stay tuned, guys. Let's get into it, Nick.
Fantastic. Right, so the Bank of England governor just advertised XRP by, criticising cross-border payments. And you're thinking, this doesn't quite make a lot of sense. They're criticising cross-border payments, yet advertising XRP. What's going on? So let's get into it, right? So let's take a look. At the ongoing virtual Davos conference, the Bank of England governor, Andrew Bailey, mentioned that there were some gaps, to fill in digital payments, in spite of a flurry of innovation it has witnessed in recent years, right? So the quote is, "We still have some big gaps to fill, and cross-border payments being the obvious one, where where the cost of making payments is too high. It's just too high." So he's not saying anything that no one else knows already, right? That it is not only probably more cost effective, but it's also quicker to fly cash around the world and the planet than it is to use the banking system as it is today. That's because it's old technology and it just haven't evolved. And that's where Ripple really comes in, and XRP, right? So while he did not mention directly the XRP, his words can definitely be perceived as a nod to, Ripple, the fifth largest cryptocurrency, and XRP, right? And so because of XRP's design, the digital asset has been battered by the SEC's lawsuit against Ripple Labs. It's primarily advertised as a fast, inexpensive bridge currency for making real-time cross-border payments more efficient, which we all know, right? For anyone who's interested in XRP, it does a fantastic job at doing exactly that. So XRP will also have have to compete with relevance and with booming private stablecoins and a slew of central bank digital currencies that are being tested or developed by major world powers. However, as mentioned by Ripple's Emmy, the controversial token will merely be complementary to these instead. It's not competing. You can't have multiple CBDCs all paired up together. You need a bridge currency to interact with each other, and that's where XRP truly comes in. So refuting the idea that there would be some kind of rivalry between them. So a different regulatory environment, right? So while the US SEC made it abundantly clear that it views XRP as an unregistered security in its lawsuits, and again, I'll clear this up because that's not true. That's just simply not what's actually happening. But basically, the UK Treasury recognizes it as an exchange token because, it's what it is. It's an exchange token or a virtual currency. It's pretty obvious, right, Chris?
Yeah, completely.
It is what it is, right? So you can call it whatever you want over in the US, but ultimately it's an exchange token. Due to the regulatory clarity, Ripple has floated the idea of moving its global headquarters from San Francisco to London, and we would welcome Ripple over here as well. So we already know who would really lose in this particular battle. But let's get into one thing to start with, right? The SEC made it clear that there were unregistered securities sales. They haven't made clear, and they haven't put in a complaint that XRP is a security, and they have not asked a judge to deem it a security. So regardless of what happens during this this court case, right, this SEC nonsense, at the end of it, XRP will not be called or not classified as a security because the SEC has not asked a judge to call it a security, and therefore a judge cannot call it a security during the trial. So it does not matter what happens, right? Ripple gets a fine, Ripple don't get a fine. Ripple are found guilty, Ripple are not found guilty. It does not matter. Ultimately, you're going to see massive growth once the thing is put to bed. And I'm going to show you some examples of what that looks like later in this video. But one thing that we know for certain at this point in time, SEC has not requested a judge to call XRP a security. The complaint that the SEC has raised is that they've made unregistered securities sales in the past. And that, you could argue, they have done. Okay, but in terms of XRP being a security today, it just simply isn't. But some fantastic news, Chris. Despite SEC's best attempts at knocking Ripple back, there's been some fantastic expansions for Ripple, right? Ripple has expanded in Asia Pacific despite the legal uncertainty. So XRP is one of the hottest cryptocurrencies in Eastern markets despite the legal uncertainty in the US. And that's because it's the US. It really doesn't matter. So XRP is down more than 67% in the since the US Securities and Exchange Commission filed an action against Ripple. Despite the massive sell-off, XRP remains one of the most popular digital assets in Asia Pacific. So the candlestick close above or below the 26-28 range will determine where XRP's market value is heading next. Okay, and we'll get into what this looks like. So the value of XRP has decreased following the SEC's decision, which it has. And fortunately, we've actually seen a stabilizing since the exchanges have actually prevented US citizens from actually, selling it, right, and trading it. Since then, it's actually stabilized because the rest of the world, we can transact with XRP as regularly as normal. It's not a problem for us. It's only really the US. And once you remove those emotional players, then it actually starts to stabilize. So we're seeing a bit of a stable sideways trading at the moment. So the coin's value could recover, and it remains popular in Asia. So XRP took a massive 78% nosedive after rising to a high of 78 cents in mid-November. The sell-off came as the SEC filed action against Ripple, and we know all this. The regulator claimed that the company raised $1.3 billion through unregistered sales of a digital asset called XRP, right? And that's the complaint, not that XRP is a security today. It's that they sold 1.3 billion previously. So some of the prominent cryptocurrency exchanges in the industry have suspended XRP trading activity. Even Ripple's founder and former CTO, 𝗕𝗘𝗪, has sold over 223 million XRP in the past week, worth nearly $58 million. So he hasn't halted his sales. But, nonetheless, although XRP was able to recover lost ground and now trades around 26 cents, uncertainty still remains in the Western markets, and let's just say the US markets, because it definitely doesn't really matter to us in the UK, and we can be perceived as the West. So XRP remains stagnant, and that is true, it does, and we do have this triangular wedge forming. I'm not going to go into all of that right now. But ultimately, Ripple grows across Eastern markets, regardless of the fear, and that is ultimately what it is, Chris. The uncertainty from the US perspective, but not the rest of the world. And the doubts around the XRP token, I think the uneducated I guess, have doubts. And there's a lot of people who think that whatever the US decides will determine whether XRP will go to zero. And that also isn't the case if you really break it down and think logically. So Ripple continues to expand its services. According to the CEO, 𝗕𝗓𝗪𝗓, the blockchain firm has signed 15 new customers since the SEC complaint. So, the firm's goal is to, capitalize on the growing demand of central bank digital currencies throughout 2021. And her quote is, "We're focused on tackling central bank digital currencies as the future of fiat." Key to this will be our ongoing work with central banks and developing protocols that support the direct exchange of CBDCs on the XRPL, using XRP as a bridge currency. And that was 𝗕𝗓𝗪𝗓's quote. So, things definitely aren't slowing down for Ripple. In fact, they've actually gained momentum since the SEC lawsuit, believe it or not, where they signed 15 new customers since December, whereas the average before the SEC complaint was only 2 a week. This actually brings it up to 4 a week. So you could argue that actually the SEC have maybe had a positive impact. It really depends. But ultimately, Ripple is doing perfectly fine because the majority of their business is actually outside of the US, not inside the US. So yeah, that is what it is. But let's take a look at what might happen, Chris, after the SEC lawsuit comes to a close. And like I say, it doesn't matter if they pay a fine, found guilty, not found guilty, don't pay a fine. It doesn't matter, because ultimately, here's an example of someone who's found guilty. Right, so kin, the Kick Interactive case, they were filed, a lawsuit against by the SEC for unregistered security sales of their kin token. And you can see very much a sideways action here until, of course, the day that they were found guilty, and they paid a $5 million fine. And the very day, Chris, that they were found guilty, they got a boost in price. That continued for 7 days, and they saw 961% growth in 7 days after being found guilty of unregistered securities sales. Okay, and the kin token is called a security. Okay, so this is literally like the worst thing you could possibly think could happen to a cryptocurrency, and it still saw 961% growth, okay, in 7 days. The 66-day period shows 1,900% growth, okay, for a cryptocurrency that was then deemed a security, and Kick Interactive were fined and found guilty of unregistered securities sales. And still, we saw nearly 2,000% growth. What do you think XRP will do, Chris?
Well, I think it's going to pump regardless.
It's going to pump regardless. So it generally does not matter whether Ripple is guilty, not guilty, fined, not fined. One thing that we know for certain is that inside that 71-page document, the SEC have not asked for XRP to be classed a security, unlike they did with the kin token. And therefore, it doesn't matter what the outcome of this is. There's been a lot of emotional sellers out there, and there's some fantastic purchasing opportunities, Chris, on the back of that. But once this thing comes to a close, we're going to see some fantastic XRP prices going to the upside. Chris, anything you want to add before we close this video off?
No, I mean, we've been saying this for since the moment the news came out that we were confident that XRP would be fine and it wouldn't be going to zero. And in that period of time since then, we have actually increased our position in XRP, because of the way we feel about the situation. And the other thing to add is I don't believe kin was stopped from trading either, which is another interesting sort of difference between those two cases. And even if it was to be deemed a security, the reason why kin actually pumped like it did was because it was classed as a security, but it meant that retail investors were unable to purchase. So in doing that, it made it, I guess, it put it in a position where you had to be what's the word, Nick?
You had to be an accredited investor.
Exactly. So, and when that happens, the price tends to increase as well. So it looks good. It'd be interesting, just to see how everything plays out. But yeah, quietly confident, Nick.
Absolutely. So guys, if you have enjoyed today's video, found it a little informative, maybe a little entertaining, do go ahead and smash that like button. Chris really appreciates it, I really appreciate it, and I like to think that you appreciate it too. And if you're new to the channel and not yet subscribed, don't forget to go ahead and subscribe. By subscribing, you will be kept up to date with all the videos and live streams that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And with all that said and done, we hope you have a fantastic day, guys, and we'll catch you all in the next one.
Yeah, take care.